from Forging Foundations. If you're new to my channel, I am a former teacher turned homeschool mom, and I have 3 children ages 6, 3, and 10 months old. During this month of August, I am focusing on back to school as a theme, and you are watching the 5th video. In today's video, I'm going to be sharing the science curriculums that we're going to be using this year from The Good and the Beautiful. They are all unit studies, which is the style of The Good and the Beautiful science curriculum. So I'm going to show you those different units, and then stay tuned for a video on how I actually prepared the first unit that we're going to be using. So this year for our science units, we are doing 4 of the Good and the Beautiful units, and then we are going to do an insect unit similar to what we did last year. Last year we did the butterfly unit and we used Insect Lore's butterfly kit, and it was a great hit with my kids, and so I decided that we're going to do it again this year. However, they have a bunch of different kits available, and the one we'll be doing this year is the praying mantis, partially because my son was really excited when he saw there was a praying mantis one, and so was my husband. And so that is the unit we'll be doing, but it won't be until the springtime. So the 4 units we'll be using are the arthropods unit, the botany unit, the safety unit, and the water in our world unit. So let me give you a look at each one. So the first unit we're going to be tackling this year is kind of a continuation of the unit that we started at the end of last year. The butterfly unit was something that we did from Insect Lore, and we were going to follow it up with the arthropods unit, but we ended the year earlier than we had planned, so we decided we'd start this year with the arthropods unit. And it'll be a great way to review what we learned about butterflies along with other insects, which my kids right now are obsessed with insects and spiders, so this is the perfect unit to start our science units with. And this one is I have already done the prep work for this. I just have a few more things to cut, but I will be doing a video on how I set up my science units from The Good and the Beautiful next week. It'll be coming out next week. It's the last week of the back to school series, and next week that will be the first video on Tuesday. So you will see how I went about getting this, what it cost me to get it spiral bound and all that, all the lamination I did. So be sure to check out that video when it comes out next Tuesday, and be sure to subscribe so you don't miss out when it does. So this is the first unit we're going to be using, just to kind of give you a quick glance at what we'll be learning in this unit. I don't plan on going through each of the books or each of the units, because you can find sample pages on The Good and the Beautiful's website, so you can go check it out there. But just to kind of give you an idea, we're going to learn about what arthropods are, what insects are, what they're going to be doing oral presentations, which is kind of a research project that'll be throughout the whole thing. And then there's going to be a bunch of different insects that we're learning about: mosquitoes, fireflies, termites, silkworms, bees and wasps, certain entomologists that were famous, butterflies, which will be a good review, ants, different ways that insects defend themselves, arachnids, so spiders, and crustaceans, which are like crabs and crayfish and all that fun stuff. Now with the arthropods unit, I did get the toolbox for teachers, or toolboxes for teaching arthropods kit, and inside this kit is a bunch of the things that I need for the unit. Now there are some things that aren't included, something small and sweet scents like vanilla, lemon, and ant farm, which I will be getting from Insect Lore when we get to that section, scotch tape, and then a few drops of cooking oil. So those things are not included in here, but these are all things I have around my house except for the anthill. And I did want to give you a quick look inside just so you can see what is included. This is a kit that is up to 6 students. So if you have more than one child doing this unit with you, you can go ahead and use it for up to 6 children. So inside, there's some paper towels, some Cheetos, which is for one of the lessons. There's a bunch of different cotton balls. So I'm going to just take all those out. Right here are some sesame seeds, I think. Here's some brown clay. There are some of these glow sticks for one of the lessons. There's 6 of them in here. I only have 4 showing, but there's more underneath. Here is a crayfish dissection kit, and One of the reasons we're also doing this first as our science unit is because I was reading online that dissection kits, specifically crayfish kits, only last about 6 months, and I got this back in the spring, so I'm trying to use it before it starts to get stinky. So we get one of these kits along with it. There's a piece of silk, this has to do with one of the lessons, some honey, and then you saw the other glow sticks and the cotton balls. So that is everything that comes in the kit. It's everything you need for 6 kids for the units, and then obviously plus those things that I mentioned earlier. So that is one thing that I did get for the arthropods unit. Let's go ahead and take a look at the next unit we're going to be working on. So the next unit we're going to be doing is a shorter unit, and I thought this would be perfect around Christmas time and the holidays after we finish our arthropod unit. And it's the safety unit, and this technically falls under the health category of the Good and the Beautiful's science units. And I know that they're coming out with more health units. They do have one on maturity, and I know they're going to be coming out with a few more. So one of the things you get with this kit or this unit is this magnet that is for emergencies. And I love this because it has poison control on here, which is something that, you know, any parent should really know or be able to access right away. It has what to do when you're in an emergency, your address that you can put on here, and I'll have to test it out, but this is probably dry erase because it does feel kind of slippery. So you could probably write this on here in dry erase so that if you do move often, like if you're in the military or something like that, or if you live in a very transient area, you know, you can write it but then erase it. Another thing is your mom's phone, your dad's phone, and then other phone numbers that you might want to put, like your grandparent or your child's grandparents or a neighbor that they need to get a hold of. However, they already have a section for that underneath here. So this might be for like an older sibling or maybe someone like a babysitter or something like that. So neighbor or other family phone numbers are here as well, which is nice. So just a nice little magnet to go on your fridge. And then for the safety unit, it is one of the shorter units. It has 7 lessons, and in these lessons they talk about safety rules, they talk about fire safety, water and electricity safety, earthquakes and natural disasters, God gave me a body. They talk about how God gave you a body and that you need to protect it from people who want to harm it. Or do things that aren't right to it and things like that. So I thought that was very good because my son's he's going to be 7 in the fall, and I want him to know what's appropriate and what's not. So I'm very glad that that's in there and that it's presented in a very wholesome way. Home alone, for whenever you get to an age where your child can stay home alone. They talk about what to do when you're home alone. I was reading through some of it, like some of it was like, don't let people know you're home alone, locking the doors and making sure that no one can come into your house, things like that. Kitchen and cooking safety, this is one I'm really excited about because my kids love to cook with me and I'm constantly having to remind them about certain things. So having a whole unit on this will be good because it'll show them how important kitchen and cooking safety is. And then internet and peer pressure. This really focuses on technology and peer pressure. And this is something I'm going to teach, but I will just say that my husband and I have made the decision that internet and certain technologies are not going to be allowed until our children are of high school, maybe upper middle school age range. And so that's something I'm not too worried about because my kids don't get on the internet, they don't have tablets, they don't have things that allow them to do apps and things, and that's just a choice on our part. So that's something that I'll be teaching them about, but at the same time, there's certain things that aren't gonna apply to our kids at the moment. It will help for whenever they get old enough to go to friends' houses and maybe their friends have tablets or internet access, knowing when something's wrong and when something's right. That'll be good for those types of cases. So that is all about the safety unit, and that is going to be our second unit for this school year with science and health. The next unit we're going to do will probably be right around our winter time frame, which will actually be fun because the weather in our state gets pretty cold and water does freeze, so it'll be a fun little experiment for some of our outdoor water experiments and things like that. So this is Water in Our World, and the things that they'll be learning in this unit are all about water, the different states of water, evaporation, condensation, and precipitation, the water cycle, bodies of water, water shapes the earth, so different types of water around the earth, oceans, currents, and tides, which is fun because we'll be going to the beach next year as a family with a whole big family vacation, and so it'll be fun to talk about this and then maybe review with them when we're at the beach. Icebergs and glaciers, groundwater, water power, and clean water. So this one is, like I said, going to be our third unit for science, and the kit that I got with this, I actually got the one that came with 2 of the readers that are suggested in the beginning of the book where they have supplies, and read alouds optional. So the one that I got that came with it was Flood Warning, and then A Drop Around the World is another book that was in the kit. So these are 2 books that came with the set that I bought for Water and Our World. So that, like I said, will be our third unit for the school year. And our last Good and Beautiful science unit will be Botany. This is one of the newer units that came out, and I'm so excited to do this because I really want to focus on a gardening unit next spring. We did some gardening this school year, and we did okay. We planted a few things, but some of them died, and so I'd really like to study with my kids how to do botany outside, have a vegetable garden, have some plants, and just make our outdoor landscape really nice with this unit. So this is called the Botany unit, and inside we're going to learn about what is botany, the life cycles of a plant, plants or parts of a plant, the seeds, flowers, 2 different lessons on flowers, leaves, photosynthesis, plant cells, plant classification, growing plants, trees, and poisonous and carnivorous plants. So that's going to be a fun one because my husband, he took a class in botany when he was in college and really likes plants. So this is probably one where he'll interact with it too, because whenever we go for hikes and everything, he's always pointing out plants that are poisonous, plants that are not. And so this will be a good unit for him to do with us as well. So then one of the things that came with this kit was Trees and Their World. And so this is a book, a read aloud type book. So it says on the back, Trees and Their World takes its readers on a unique journey from the forest to the swamp. This beautiful book exposes the fascinating inner workings of what are sometimes considered to be plain and ordinary trees. Through rich vocabulary and beautiful illustrations, authors Carol Lane Fenton and Dorothy Constance Pallas present these wonderful creations from leaf tip to root end. So there's a few different cool pictures in here, really nice detailed pictures. I'm excited about that. And just, I'll be excited to see how my sons really like this read aloud. We'll read this whenever we're doing our science unit. It won't be during the time that we do our normal read aloud with our chapter books that we've selected for this year. So this will be something where maybe during lunchtime I'll read this out loud for the chapter that we need to read, and then we'll move into the science unit whenever we're ready, or the science lesson whenever we're ready. So this is going to be the last Good and Beautiful science unit that we're going to do, but we will be moving into a insect unit after that. So let me show you what that looks like on the Insect Lore website. So if you go to insectlore.com, you will find the kits that are available by the company. They have a bunch of different kits. As you can see, one of the most popular ones is the butterfly units and butterfly kits that they have. They have ones for schools and ones for individuals. And so if we take a look at the top, you'll see that they do have the butterflies. They have a bunch of different things available for the butterflies. They have cups of caterpillars, so if you have everything already, you can get them again. They have the school kits and the ladybugs. This is one we'll do another time, probably next year. And then they have insects and more. And this is where you'll find the ant farm. This is where you'll find the praying mantises. They have little life cycle figurines, and they have different nets and kits that you can get, and then they have gift cards available too, just in case you wanted to get this as a gift. So let's go ahead and take a look at the praying mantises little part of the site. So on the praying mantis page, you'll notice that they have only 3 things available. They have the net, they have some figurines for the life cycle, and then they have this plant thing here that holds the nest.
and they don't have the nest or the eggs available yet. This is something that comes later, and if you were interested in finding out when you're able to get those, there's some live insect questions at the bottom, and let's just check out the praying mantis ones. So here you can see all the questions that you need answered for praying mantises. This is something I'll definitely look over before we do the unit. As you can see right here, it says, when can I get my eggs? In January, that's when they start becoming available through June. So that's something that once we get closer to our unit, I'll go ahead and order those and we can get started. But as you can see, there's a bunch of different questions here that you can look up and make sure that you understand before you go and teach your child about the concept.
Thank you so much for watching today's video. I hope it was helpful for you, and like I said in the beginning of the video, I will be having a video coming up soon that shows you how I put together the arthropods unit that we are using for the first part of the year. So be sure to stay subscribed so you don't miss out on that video. If this video was helpful for you, please give it a thumbs up, and if you have any questions, make sure to leave them in the comments below. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.